It's a capital city clash between Stony Brook and Maine, next on ESPN+. I am Bryce Eccles, joined by Sandy Thomas, courtside at the Augusta Civic Center for this big matchup between the Stony Brook Seawolves and the University of Maine Black Bears. Well, just a couple of games left to go in the season for both teams, so it's time to look at the America East standings as we head towards the final stretch. Maine in first place, Stony Brook enters in third. Neither team could rise nor fall depending on the outcomes here today. Maine's one loss came versus Hartford on the road. Stony Brook's 4 losses came to the Hawks twice. Maine and UAlbany once as well. We now look at the team stat comparison, keeping in mind these are only from America East Conference games, but Maine and Stony Brook each fall in the top 3 for points per game, fewest points allowed, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, assist to turnover ratio, and steals. And when it comes to rebounding, the Seawolves are among the top 3 in conference as well, while the Black Bears have the best free throw percentage in all the America East Conference. Well, with that backdrop, Sandy, let's get our keys to success first for the visiting Stony Brook Seawolves.
Keys to victory for Stony Brook, if they've got to own the boards this time. Maine out-rebounded them down there by 9 rebounds, and Stony Brook's better than that on the boards. They've got to attack Maine's defense, as Stony Brook only shot 5 free throws the last game, and they've also got to defend the 3, as every team does whenever they play Maine. They've got to know where those 3-point shooters are. For keys to victory for Maine, they've got to shut down Gucci Provenche and also Pagan, who was dominant on the boards against Maine in that game, and Provenche had 15 points. And as always, they've got to make sure they know where Shania Johnson is. Outstanding player for them.
Starters for today's matchup, first for the visiting Seawolves of Stony Brook, Gucci Provenche will be starting along with Matthews, Johnson, Zeiss, and Pagan. For the Black Bears, they'll have this starting 5 out there on the floor, including Paris Rosignol, Sarr, Milan, Sutton, and Wadley. Coaching matchup in this one for Stony Brook. It's Caroline McCombs, 84-65 record at the helm of the Seawolves in her 5th season at the program, looking to finish in 4th place or better for the 4th time in her 5 years, leading the Stony Brook side. And for the Black Bears, local legend Amy Vachon, 53-24 record as Black Bears head coach. An Augusta native returning home today. She played her high school ball 10 minutes away from this very stadium, and we'll talk about that and much more as we progress on this broadcast this afternoon. Stony Brook will be wearing their road blue jerseys with the blue, or with the red shoes. Maine wearing their home whites. And Gucci Provenche gets things started with a basket.
Yeah, Maine started out in their man-to-man, so a little bit of a quick matchup there for Tanesha Sutton.
This is a big game for both teams. Maine trying to stay at the top of the charts in the American East standings, and will do so with every victory. And if they win out, they will get that #1 seed. And the road through the American East Championship will go through Bangor and Orono. This one missed, Wadling with the rebound, and Maine will reset the offense. Sutton gets the ball, drives in, goes up, contested, and still gets it over Provenche for 2.
It looks like they're going to let them play a little bit, which they should. This is a kind of a game you don't want the officials to play a part in. Just interrupt it occasionally, don't interfere.
Well, here's our key player matchup. We've got Shorty Johnson and Blanca Milan, probably the front runners for the American East Players of the Year, Sam.
Oh, certainly. Johnson, as a matter of fact, has been a 5-times Player of the Week, and Blanca has been a 4-times Player of the Week. Yeah, that's a great matchup, too, out there, because I believe Blanca just blocked Johnson's shot on that.
It looks like they're going to be matching up versus one another, so this will really be the true test to see who might be leading when all is said and done. Shot from Johnson from 3, gets her own rebound. Nice follow-up there. The shortest player on the court, but she plays much larger than her frame. And she'll draw the foul on her guarding mate in Blanca Milan.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for Blanca Milan, and Maine obviously does not want her to get into foul trouble.
And Shania Johnson, who does have the nickname of Shorty, is 5'1" from Frederick, Maryland, but she is 4th in the nation at 7.7 assists per game. So not only can she score in bunches, and we see another basket coming from the left block, but she can also dish out the dimes as well.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable total for assists at 7.7 per game.
So Pagan joins his Gucci Provenche in the scoring column, and now it's a 4-2 early lead for the road Seawolves. 3-pointer from the top of the key. High bounce, and it's going to miss. Rebound to Pagan, and the Seawolves going the other way.
Yeah, all 3 times Maine took a shot that they did not want to have to take.
Another basket there for Oksana, who now has 4, and it's a 4-point lead already. See, we've talked about how good the Black Bears are at home, and now the dish out to the corner, wobbling now to Sutton. Mid-range jumper is going to be buried for Tanesha. Now 4 points for her. But the one thing is, this is not a true home game. It was at least an hour's trip for the Black Bears to come down here to the state capital of Maine.
Well, I believe that they came down yesterday, so they had some familiarity with the court as they got an opportunity to shoot around. But as I was talking with Chris Rosendahl during warm-ups, and she said she likes the rims down here. She's played here once before. So again, this is a different backdrop at each end of the basket, a little bit different at both ends. So again, not what they're familiar with. Hopefully the crowd gets into the game as much as the cross-center crowd in Bangor does, and that'll help Maine a lot.
It's almost like a de facto road game, even though you are technically the home team.
Yeah, definitely. This isn't necessarily a court that they're real comfortable with, the backdrops or the rims. But as long as they can get hot, just like Dorzar did just then, they'll be comfortable.
Saar hits their first basket. It's a long-range variety. Maine down to 1 point of a deficit currently. Johnson with a deep 3, and what a shot from Shorty Johnson for 3.
A little surprised at that matchup with Blanca Milan on Shorty Johnson. Obviously, there's a mismatch in height, but Shorty is very, very quick.
Averaging just a little under 17 points per game at 16.5. Backdoor pass, but right into the possession and breadbasket of Pagan.
Yeah, Pagan just took a drop step down as if they had worked that play in practice a lot.
And that one, a corner 3, buried by Matthews, and the Black Bears have to call a timeout after the Seawolves doubling up the Black Bears with 6:24 remaining in quarter number 1. Back with more on ESPN+.
Fans, it's time to begin our National Girls and Women in Sports Day Shootout. We've selected 3 young women to compete at 3 separate media timeouts. The goal is to score as many points as they can via free throws, 2-point shots, or 3-point shots. Each contestant will have 30 seconds.
You support your Black Bears at the game. Why not support them everywhere you go? The exclusive Black Bear debit card only at Maine Savings. The Black Bear debit card is free to you and supports the Alphon Fund each time you use your card for a purchase. Just open a Red Wallet account at Maine Savings. Stop into our College Avenue branch or any of our other convenient branches. Show your pride. Make a difference. The exclusive Black Bear debit card only at Maine Savings. Learn more at mainsavings.com.
We've been doing business with Hammond Lumber for about 15 years. The most important thing Hammond Lumber gives us is customer service. We have a lot of jobs going, typically 4 to 6 at one time, and we need truck deliveries on each of those once a day. So we expect multiple trucks, which Hammond Lumber delivers on a regular basis for us. The things that are important to me are being able to trust my sales rep, trust the pricing, trust the delivery, and overall trust the service that Hammond Lumber provides us.
14-7 lead for Stony Brook over the Black Bears. as we have 6:24 remaining in this first quarter of play. Well, Maine coach Amy Vachon, fourth fastest coach in program's history to reach the 50-win milestone. 3 coaches have recorded that benchmark in 70 games. It took 74 under Vachon's leadership to get to 50 wins, which puts her ahead of old coach at Maine, Joanne Palumbo, who's now the coach at Duke. Coach P accomplished that feat in 84 games, and even Richard Barrett, it took him 115. So pretty impressive for Amy Vachon, who is also an assistant to Coach Barron's tutelage.
Yeah, Maine's struggling right now. Stony Brook has 6 rebounds to their 1, and they have 4 players that have scored to Maine's only 2.
After the miss, now Stony Brook trying to add on to the advantage. That one from the baseline is missed, might have been altered, and now coming out with it is Parise. Sarah's going to be guarded by Johnson. Gets it over to Maeve Carroll, who just checked in after the media timeout. She tries to find Blanca Milano in the basket. She does, but she's right underneath the backboard.
Yeah, she missed her about a half a step. She should have thrown that a little bit sooner.
Bonnie Wadling picks the pocket. Now the long pass over to Milan. No one in front of her. Still has an acrobatic play on the left side for her first basket of the afternoon. Back to a 5-point game with just over 5 minutes to play in this first quarter.
Yeah, Maine staying in their man-to-man.
Johnson for 3, front rimmed. Now the battle underneath. Pagan comes out with it, but she'll be tied up. This possession arrow will favor the Black Bears.
Yeah, Maine's going to battle on those boards as the pass gets kicked ahead here to Blanca and she scores. Down at the other end, Maeve Carroll and Pagan went after it on the boards, but she got her in a tie-up.
Dorsar crossing the half-court stripe, now over to Sutton. Maddie McVicker also checking back into the contest for the first time. Tanesha back in. Sar spots up for 3. Nothing but net on its way down through for Dor.
Yeah, nice, very well executed design play for Dorzar to come up off a high screen and shoot that 3.
Second one from 3 tonight already for Dorsar. Just like that, 2-point game. Johnson gets the ball. Driving in on Milan. Thought about the pull-up jumper, instead she'll work. What dribbling moves. Now Pagan going through against Wadling. The spin move, little fade away, too strong, and Tanesha Sutton with the rebound.
Yeah, coming out of that timeout, it may look like they picked up their man-to-man defense, playing them a little bit tighter, not leaving quite so much space between them.
Now Wadling finds the seam all the way to the dish for 2.
Maine's definitely picked it up a little bit. I think Coach Vachon might have encouraged them in that last timeout that they came out pretty sluggish.
Tie game. Jay Provenche swung around to Zeiss. Now Johnson weaves through a couple Black Bears and off the glass and in.
Shania Johnson.
It's 5 points now for Shania. As they retake the lead by a bucket. Vicker over to Milan. Close defense being played on her by Zeiss. A little Euro step is going to be a little altered. Some contact underneath, but no fouls caught.
Yeah, she'd slipped through that gap really well, but...
And again, a beautiful drive and dart, and Johnson has another.
Yeah, right now, Johnson's being a little bit too quick for the whole Maine team.
7 points now after back-to-back buckets. They're giving Tanesha that 3-point shot, and this one is going to be a foul.
A little bit of an acrobatic shot there.
Wondered if it was going to be a foul or it was going to be a travel call. Watch this drive and dart through. Johnson just so quick. If she gets a step on you, she's already gone for 2.
Yeah, and that's the key. Maine cannot let her get that extra quick step. She's a good 3-point shooter, so you can't sag way off on her, but I think you've got to stay in front of her.
Black Bears will turn the ball over as Blanca Milan still have possession as she touches the end line. It's a pretty physical game underneath the bucket, I must say, just watching the early parts of this contest.
Well, both teams are extremely competitive, and I think Coach Vachon did not like the way Maine initially came out, and I think Maine's even picked it up a little bit more physically.
21 seconds on the shot clock as the ball worked around the Zeiss. Here's a corner three, and it's good again. Another one for Matthews.
3-point basket to Terrell
And Matthews right now is a 38% three-point shooter, so you've got to know where she is on the court.
7-point lead now for the Seawolves, largest so far of the day. The drive, the spin, the dish out. Sutton pulls up for three, and she's got it.
Tanesha SUTTON.
Yeah, the way Stony Brook right now is playing defense, Tanesha Sutton's got to stick a couple of those kind of shots for them to play honest defense against Maine.
And Tanesha was not a real participant in that Stony Brook game last time out. Already 7 points in this one against the Seawolves.
Yeah, it's true. Maine, Tanesha did not play in the win down at Stony Brook by Maine.
Johnson gets the bump. Count it as well. What a move towards the basket again for Shania Johnson.
I would think if there's anybody on the court that could defend her, it would be Dorzar, but Dor is letting her create too much contact so that she can get that quick step past her.
You really can't hesitate when she makes that first step, because
No, you can't.
if you think about it, she's already past you.
Yeah, and I think you've got to stay off her a little bit, but don't give her enough room to take the three-point shot. But you've got to keep her in front of you. You can't try to stay alongside her and not get beat.
Other thing is you can't foul her when she goes towards the rack, because you know what? She's an 84.5% free throw shooter, but Dorsar says anything you can do, I can do just as well, as she now has 8 points.
Yeah, and that's the competitive edge that I love about Dorzar. She just plays like she's 6 feet tall.
And just a sophomore at that. Terrell Matthews being guarded by Rosignol. Works it back towards the top.
Yeah, man, it looks like they're playing a little bit of a matchup right now.
Little pump fake from Zeiss. The pull-up fadeaway is going to be short, and then the board's pulled down by Wadling.
Yeah, way to keep that ball alive by Fawny Wadling.
5-point game, 24-19. Sarr, foul line extended now into Sutton, going against Zeiss. Backs down her defender, gets in the lane, up, but won't roll down through. Rebound and putback is good for Tanesha Sutton.
Yeah, Tanisha's gonna battle. Tanisha's, like I've said in the past, she's one of the hardest working Division I players around. She's gonna battle in the paint.
Tanesha, after that one, now has 9 points.
Yeah, Tanisha's only 5'10", but she's another one who plays like she's much taller than that.
40 seconds to play. Cherry with it. Being harassed by Blanca Milan.
Yeah, Blanca's got to be careful.
That one pops in and out. Rebound by Wadley. Quick outlet with a 3-point differential. Might be too long for Sarr, but she recorrals it in front of the Stony Brook bench.
Might have been too long for somebody else, but with Dora's quickness, I think she was going to catch up with that no matter what.
Less than a second of differential between shot and game clock here. So now Sarr has it. Swung around now. Rosinol hands off to Milan. Being guarded by Cherry. Her pocket is picked. 2 seconds left. The heat from the half is off the top of the backboard. And we will go into the second quarter with a 3-point differential. Stony Brook 24, Maine 21. Back with more on ESPN+.
Bold meets sweet. With Dunkin's new brown sugar cold brew. Sweetly balanced with brown sugar.
Respect is hard work, respect is dedication.
Respect is earned on the court or on the field.
Respect doesn't judge based on sexual orientation or gender identity.
Respect is being the first conference to partner with the You Can Play project.
And the first conference in the LGBT Sports Safe Founders Club.
Respect the coaches, the players, and the game.
Respect similarities.
Respect differences.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
doing business with Hammond Lumber for about 15 years. The most important thing Hammond Lumber gives us is customer service. We have a lot of jobs going, typically 4 to 6 at one time, and we need truck deliveries on each of those once a day. So we expect multiple trucks, which Hammond Lumber delivers on a regular basis for us. The things that are important to me are being able to trust my sales rep, trust the pricing, trust the delivery, and overall trust the service that Hammond Lumber provides us.
Look at those guys, triumphing over the afternoon.
Because they went on a Dunkin' run and got $2 snacks. Hey, guys. Hey.
The Dunkin' Run menu. Delicious $2 afternoon snacks.
24-21 game right now. Stony Brook on the road on top of the Black Bears in the Augusta Civic Center in the capital city of the state of Maine. We mentioned Amy Vachon, local legend, playing at Coney High School in Augusta, just a 10-minute drive here from the Civic Center. Her dad, Paul, coached her high school team and is still the school's athletic director to this date. Amy and Paul won the Class A state championship in 1995 and 96 and has been inducted to the New England Basketball, Maine State Basketball, and the UMaine Athletics Halls of Fame. So a little bit of homecoming of sort for Amy, getting ready for this matchup, and hopefully a W in tow for her as well.
Well, I'm sure she's played many a game in this facility as well.
It's got to be weird. Always when you go back to your hometown, it always has that comforting feeling, but again, pressure-packed situation where you don't want to drop a team to a team like Stony Brook and let the Hartford Hawks creep back in the conversation of hosting the Americas tournament.
Yeah, this game is definitely key for Maine as far as home court.
Of course, a different format this year around. Another three-pointer from Tanesha, this time short. She follows up, though, then gets it over to Rosignol. Now Saar takes the three and hits it for the third time today.
Yeah, that's a clinic. That's a clinic right there by Dorzar on how to do a ball fake to get her defensive player to step away from her, and she's got a wide-open three-point shot.
Make it 11 points for Dorzar to lead all scorers. Pagan worked down the baseline, going against Wadling, tries to dish it over, but it's deflected by Tanesha. Rosignol over to Saar. Now work down low. Back up to the top of the key. Blanca Milan just 2 points on the afternoon, but it's not because she's not trying, but it's also because Tanesha SUTTON and company are scoring in bunches, and Tanesha heading to the line for more shots.
Yeah, that's just a good spin move.
Tanesha SUTTON shooting 2.
As I mentioned, Tanesha, a chance to get into double digits already if she can hit just one free throw.
She's a 75% free throw shooter. And of course, I jinxed her.
As she was shooting, though, I don't think that's a true broadcaster's jinx. Boucher into the game for the Stony Brook side. We're dotted up at 24 each. And Tanesha will get that double-digit mark with that free throw dropping for her, and the Black Bears have a narrow 1-point advantage.
Yeah, Maine in their matchup right now. Looks like a 1-3-1. They're sagging down. They come back out to match up.
Oh, and it is going to be a takeaway. I said almost, and then it's over to Saar by Blanca Milan. Now Rosignol for her first three-pointer. Just narrowly missing. Still a loose ball battle picked up by Blanca. She'll miss that one, but guess who? Tanesha SUTTON back around. Rosignol gets some space. Pull-up jumper is good.
Yeah, Paris did not like the fact that she got knocked down on that shot. She wanted to get another second effort at it.
Stony Brook calls the timeout. Maine on top by 3. Back with more from the Augusta Civic Center.
You support your Black Bears at the game. Why not support them everywhere you go? The exclusive Black Bear debit card only at Main Savings. The Black Bear debit card is free to you and supports the Alphon Fund each time you use your card for a purchase. Just open a Red Wallet account at Main Savings. Stop into our College Avenue branch or any of our other convenient branches. Show your pride. Make a difference. The exclusive Black Bear debit card only at Main Savings. Learn more at mainsavings.com.
We've been doing business with Hammond Lumber for about 15 years. The most important thing Hammond Lumber gives us is customer service. We have a lot of jobs going, typically 4 to 6 at one time, and we need truck deliveries on each of those once a day. So we expect multiple trucks, which Hammond Lumber delivers on a regular basis for us. The things that are important to me are being able to trust my sales rep, trust the pricing, trust the delivery, and overall trust the service that Hammond Lumber provides us.
Maine on top with 8:10 remaining in the first half, 27-24. Wrapping up the weekend here for the Augusta Civic Center after these scores came across yesterday. UMBC with a 9-point win over UAlbany. Binghamton a 9-point win on the road versus the Catamounts. And Hartford trying to stay in pace with the Black Bears, won 69-45 versus UMass Lowell, which means the Black Bears really need to win this game to stay in first place all by themselves.
Yeah, that was a good call for Coach Vachon coming out of that timeout. She had Maine get into a little bit of a 1-2-2 containment full court press, slowed them down a little bit, but once they got the ball in Shorty's hands, she dribbled right by. Maine's got to use the sideline to their advantage with her. She's gonna, if she tucks her head, she's by them.
Shot clock down to 1. The three-pointer is going to be off the back of the iron. Rebound by Pecan, now worked around. Corner 3 on its way. This one also a tad long, and Wadling gets the rebound. Here's the lob pass in from Dorsar into Sun. She works it back out to the top. Rosignol, a deep 3, just narrowly missing. And that's an easy rebound for Boucher.
Yeah, Maine again drops back into, they've got a little bit of a collapsed 1-3-1, and then they match up on the first pass.
Quick jumper, that one's going to miss. Battle underneath, knocked out of bounds by Sutton, so it'll stay with the Seawolves. First time since the 2017-18 season opener that the Black Bears have actually played away in a home game from the Cross Insurance Center.
I'm not so sure if the coaching staff would have liked to have had this one be the one that they played away, since there's so much riding in this game.
So far, so good, however. 3-point lead and a chance for more after the steal and score from Wadling.
Yeah, since Bonnie Wadling has come back from that concussion injury that she missed probably, I think, 6 or 7 games, she has lit it up.
And now this one, a takeaway, and a foul will be called on Matthews. As we see the steal and the finish from Fonnie Wadling for her 4th point of the game.
Good anticipation on Bonnie Wadling's part.
So the inbound will come in this near sideline by Blanca Milan, who finds Tanesha Sutton. We're back underway with 6:39 left on the first half clock. And what a kick from Matthews.
Stony Brook's doing a good job of getting into those passing lanes. You can tell that they've practiced over and over some of Maine's offensive cuts, because Maine's very good at hitting that wide open cutter.
Rosignol works it over. Milan pulls up for 3. That one's going to be long off the backboard.
Blanca right now seems a little bit off of her game, scoring-wise anyway.
Well, and Rosignol have combined for 4 points in total, 2 each for the talented guards for the Black Bears. Matthews gets some space on Rosignol, then buries the deep 2.
And again, I hope some of these younger players are paying attention. Both of these teams do a ball fake very, very well, creating an open shot for themselves. They get the defensive player to go to one direction, they take a side step and get an open shot.
Saul with the ball, 15 on the shot clock. 3-pointer on its way. This one in and out will not fall for Milan. And now going the other way with a chance to tie the game up with a 3-pointer are the Seawolves. Though Johnson, reverse layup and an acrobatic play for 2 to cut the deficit to 1.
She is just so quick. If you don't stop ball on her, she's going to beat you.
13 points now for her on the afternoon. This one deflected. Now it's a steal. A chance for Stony Brook to take the lead. And that's going to be the case. An easy layup for Shorty Johnson.
Great anticipation by Johnson, but she's so quick. She probably could have gotten that out of the air anyway.
Of course, yesterday, a matchup between Stony Brook and Maine on the men's side of things. Stony Brook shot an unbelievable 53% from the floor with 11 three-pointers. They also hit 20 of their 32 free throw attempts, as Akwazi Yaboa with 27 points, 5 three-pointers, and a perfect 8 for 8 from the stripe, resulting in a pretty impressive win for Stony Brook.
And here we see just how quick Shorty Johnson is on the pass. Gets a wide open free layup.
As Maeve Carroll checks back in, and Wadling will get a breather towards the main sideline. Back and forth game so far from the capital city of the state of Maine, the Civic Center, which has been host to many a high school basketball game, and many a basket so far from Shania Johnson as she rattles that one for 3.
And that's what hurts, because Shania, if you stay off of her at all, she's going to put the three-point shot up and very capable of making them. And if you stay tight on her, she's going to beat you.
4-point lead now for the road Seawolves. This one knocked towards our way, but saved by Matthews. She just has one player to beat, and she'll get there before Maeve Carroll. And another bucket means a quick timeout from Coach Vashon and the Maine Black Bears.
Yeah, Maine right now is just telegraphing their passes.
Double digits now for Matthews, as we see the steal here, just saving that and then taking it all the way in for an easy 2 points in double digits. And Black Bears look like they might be able to start extending the lead away and maybe start to be a little bit more comfortable, but not the case, as what has happened is this has been a game of runs, and the Seawolves have done a very good job.
Yeah, Maine seems to be a little bit soft on their passes, and they cannot telegraph against a team as quick up front as Stony Brook is.
Well, this is the 41st meeting all-time here today between these two teams. Maine has won 7 of the last 9 games. Maine is 12-4 at home in the series, although not necessarily a true home game for the Black Bears. Last team to sweep the season series was Maine back in the 2015-16 season, as they took down the Seawolves a 3rd time that season in the Americas tournament. And Maine won the first game back earlier by a 68-54 score.
Yeah, and right now Maine's looking for their 9th consecutive win here. They're not going to get it by passing some of the passes, the soft passes they've taken.
The drive in, and another foul will be called. This one underneath will send Tanesha Sutton to the line for the 2nd time today.
Yeah, and I think that's what Maine's got to do. And I believe both teams in the previous game, both teams only shot 5 free throws. Both teams have got to attack the basket and get to the line.
Sutton 50% on her first 2 attempts. As a hush goes over the crowd. And nothing but net for Tanesha there. It was a quick break for Fani Wadling.
Yeah, Fani definitely is a key part to this University of Maine team.
And another one through for Sutton to make this a 4-point game, favoring the Stony Brook side.
Yeah, right now, Pagan, Matthews, and of course Johnson's hurting Maine a little bit. 3 key players.
Being guarded by McVicker, now the pass in. Pagan almost losing it, back out to Johnson. She'll pull up for a 3, rattles in and out. Still, it's going to be loose and knocked in. I think they're going to give that one to Zeiss underneath in the tip-in. So back to a 6-point advantage. Spin move, pull-up jumper, and that's a beautifully executed shot from Sutton.
Yeah, Maine needs to have that happen a little bit more, because that's going to open up the 3-point shooters. If Maine's going to penetrate into the paint and stick those kind of shots, Stony Brook's going to have to play them honest.
Johnson, foul line extended, now into Pagan. She beats Wadling, but can't get that one with enough arc. Rebound by Zeiss, and she'll be fouled as she goes down to the floor.
Black Bear foul called on number 51, Wadling, her first.
Again, so impressed with how Tanesha's able to work towards the basket and get that one to drop.
Well, she's got such a quick vert. After she comes off that spin move, she's got a quick release and a quick ups.
Pass right into Fani Wadling, who beat Pagan to that left block.
Yeah, Maine needs to take advantage and score on some of these turnovers.
Another 3-pointer from Saar. That one just narrowly missed. The rebound picked up from Wadling, who will reset to Saar. Fani has been all over the offense and defensive glass so far in the last few minutes. Under 3 to play.
That would have been Fani's 5th rebound.
Now she'll take a 3-pointer. That one front rimmed out. Rebounds won by Cox as she gets it to the outlet to Matthews, down to Johnson. They try to work it underneath. Zeiss back to Matthews, being guarded by Saar. Cox almost losing it. Now she'll drive in on Milan. Throws that one up. Won't get the angle, but the follow-up is in and good for Pagan.
Yeah, Pagan right now is in the right place at every single shot and getting key rebounds for them.
And she now has a half dozen, extending the lead back up to 6. 25 on the shot clock, 2:10 on the game clock for the Black Bears in the first half.
Stony Brook's doing a very good job of defending that up screen on the first initial pass on Maine's offense.
Waddling, backing down her defender, now out to Milan for 3. That one's going to be offline. It's going to be a long rebound. It's going to be picked up by Johnson. She's working it quickly down. A nice seam pass, but unable to handle it is India Pagan underneath the basket. And Johnson upset with how that all turned out.
Yeah, that's a turnover, so Maine's got to try to look to get a good percentage shot, hopefully something in the paint for them off that.
And still a lot of time in this contest for both sides, but if you're the Black Bears, you really want to get a bucket here to get a little closer before the break.
Well, they've got to gain a little bit momentum here going into the locker room for sure, and that could be it.
Count it, and one. Tanesha Sutton heading to the line for the 3rd time after completing the bucket before the hump.
Well, as we see here, Tanesha definitely has attack mode on her mind, and that's what it gets for you. You attack the basket, you score, you get to the line with a clock stop for 3-point play.
She gets that one to drop to complete the old-fashioned 3-point play. And just like that, we're to a 1-possession ball game again.
Key thing is with these two teams, too, they both have really good coaching staffs, and it'll be interesting to see the adjustments that both of these coaching staffs make at halftime.
Johnson being guarded by Milan. Starts to drive in, and that'll be a foul called on Blanca. She just reaches in and touches Shorty Johnson.
The thing is with that, too, if you're going to defend Johnson, you cannot slap at the ball and reach in because she is so quick. Even if you don't make initial contact, she's so quick she'll force you to make that contact.
It's interesting with Johnson is you can sag off of her to alleviate the dart through the lane, but she also hit a record 7 3-pointers. A school record in a contest earlier in the season, and then she again does that, damaging the Black Bears in the lane again.
Yeah, the only way somebody can do that that's 5'1" is to be so quick with the handle.
Black Bears going through, trying to get a bucket of their own, counted and one, and another chance at 3 as Blanca Milan will head to the line.
Well, it's good to see Maine at this point, once again, not settling for a 3, but attacking the basket, getting the foul.
Well, coming up at the half, we'll have interviews with both coaches. We'll have a sit-down with Tanesha Sutton to discuss the National Girls and Women's Day in Sports here from the Augusta Civic Center. And we'll also have first half highlights, which will be coming up at the break.
Yeah, Coach Vachon takes Blanca Milan out with 51 seconds left to go, which is smart. You don't want her picking up a crazy 3rd foul.
Now there's 20-second differential between shot and game clock. Johnson beating McVicker right to the dish, and again using her speed to her advantage to make this a 4-point game.
Yeah, this is amazing to watch right now. She's beating the whole Maine team. She just beat 3 players off the dribble.
Now there's around a 5 or 6-second differential in shot and game clock as Dorsar wanting the Black Bears to take as much time as possible off as she's dribbling at half court. Now over to Sutton. She tries to beat her defender. She'll get that one up and good for 2.
Might have given Stony Brook a little bit too much time, though, with Shorty Johnson.
Waddling bites on the fake. Can't get it to go for Jarrell Matthews, and it'll be a 2-point game after 2 quarters in the books as we head into halftime with a Stony Brook side 43, Maine 41. Back with more at the half on ESPN+.
Quick interview for you, main broadcast coach. Thank you. on in a matter of seconds
Okay.
here. On the floor of the Augusta Civic Center, I'm joined by Stony Brook head coach Caroline McCombs. And coach, you came out and took the early lead. Maine had the answer, but then you regained the lead in the latter part of the first half. How would you rate your performance so far?
Yeah, Maine's a very good team. They're excellent at home. We have our work cut out for us. I think we really did a good job. You have to be able to score with them. You do our best to defend. So they're a good team. We got our work cut out for us for the next 20 minutes.
Thank you, coach. Best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back with more from the Cross Insurance Center after this.
I know it's not your fault, but we need to do that. Okay? Thank you.
On the floor of the Augusta Civic Center, I'm joined by Blackbird head coach Amy Vachon. And coach, it was a battle between Tanesha Sutton and Stony Brook's Shania Johnson in the first half. How will you settle down Shania Johnson as the game continues?
Yeah, I don't. Defensively, we're not very good right now. She's a great player and hitting some shots, but to give up 43 points in one half is just really, really bad defensively for us.
Any other adjustments you'll make in the second half
We're
today?
going to have to make a lot of adjustments, to be honest with you. We'll figure out what they are.
Thank you, coach. We'll go back to Brian and Sandy courtside.
At the half, a 43-41 lead for the visiting Stony Brook Seawolves over the University of Maine Black Bears in a big Americas matchup. Speaking of a big Americas matchup, we got a ton of them. As Americas fans, ESPN Plus has you covered this Wednesday. All 8 games will be on Plus. For the women's side, 4 games at 7 Eastern. Maine travels to UMass Lowell, looking to stay on top of the standings. Stony Brook heads south to take on UMBC. Hartford hosts Binghamton, continuing the chase for the #1 seed. And UAlbany travels to New Hampshire for a battle of playoff seeding. So a lot of great action right there for you coming up midweek on ESPN Plus. But a great start of this contest and a pretty good first 20 minutes for the Seawolves. With that in mind, we'll send it down to Adam LaFleur from the thoughts from the Stony Brook head coach.
On the floor of the Augusta Civic Center, I'm joined by Stony Brook head coach Caroline McCombs. And coach, you came out and took the early lead. Maine had the answer, but then you regained the lead in the latter part of the first half. How would you rate your performance so far?
Yeah, Maine's a very good team. They're excellent at home. We have our work cut out for us. I think we really did a good job. You have to be able to score with them. You do our best to defend. So they're a good team. We got our work cut out for us for the next 20 minutes.
Thank you, coach. Best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Back with more from the Cross Insurance Center after this.
at the break. 43-41, Stony Brook on top of Maine in this big matchup in America East play for the Augusta Civic Center. Speaking of big, Big Monday tips off with a matchup on the women's side, 6 Eastern on ESPN2. Number 5 Notre Dame takes on number 18 Syracuse, a big game in the power-packed ACC. Then, this Big Monday matchup is crucial for number 12 Kansas as they've won 14 straight Big 12 regular season titles, and number 23 K-State would like nothing more than to help snap that streak. 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ESPN and the ESPN app. Big day here from the Augusta Civic Center, not just having the Black Bears in town for this matchup away from their natural home venue, the Cross Insurance Center, but it's also National Girls and Women in Sports Day, as we've been able to talk with a lot of different female athletes at the University of Maine, but one of those in particular was Tanesha Sutton, who we had a chance to talk with about this special day and these events.
My name is Tanesha Sutton, and I'm a 5th-year senior. Honestly, I think it might have been my sister. You know, especially like when I first started, I was just like, wow, this is really hard. Like, I don't want to, you know what I mean, like do this. And my sister really pushed me. We used to like go to the basketball courts around the corner from our house, and we'll just like, she'll just have me shoot till like, you know, like I can't shoot no more. And I think like her desire, motivation, determination, like to keep me going with basketball kind of helped driven me. And then I found my passion in it, you know. I didn't really have interest in sports in general until like 7th grade. Me and a group of my friends, we were just like, you know what, we're going to try out for the volleyball team. And we tried out for the volleyball team. I didn't quite like it. Didn't really like falling on the floor, my knees or whatever. And then 8th grade year, we was like, you know what, we're going to try out for a basketball team. So then we started playing 8th grade year, and, you know, I began to like it. And then I, you know, joined AAU basketball team, and I just kept playing. I loved it from that day on. Try every sport, if anything. And if you find a sport that you seem to like, but it's kind of hard, don't give up. You know, I had to learn over these years that things don't come easy. You just got to keep working hard, and over the years you'll get better, and then your time will come. So just to have the focus and determination to just keep going, and when things get hard, there's a light at the end. You know what I mean? So so just that, and have fun, like enjoy it.
Intensity and drive, but also the camaraderie that I saw on that team and the way they stick with each other was incredible.
Number 1 in the nation and is pursuing the national championship.
Because of their ability to elevate the school as a whole, I wanted to reach out and honor them. And the crowd really erupted in applause when we talked about them, because what they've done, and again, not just this year, but 3 years previously for the seniors as well, has been extraordinary for the university.
Respect is hard work, respect is dedication.
Respect is earned on the court or on the field.
Respect doesn't judge based on sexual orientation or gender identity.
Respect is being the first conference to partner with the You Can Play project.
And the first conference in the LGBT Sports Safe Founders Club.
Respect the coaches, the players, and the game.
Respect similarities.
Respect differences.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
Spread respect.
At the half, 43-41, Stony Brook on top of Maine. It's been a back-and-forth game, Sandy. It's really been a fun contest from the state capital of the state of Maine as we look back at some first-half highlights. First 20 minutes that was. Maine struggled early on, but they were able to get some big-time performances from Tanesha SUTTON and company. But Shorty, Sanaya Johnson, really just getting baskets at will.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good matchup going on there between Tanesha SUTTON, who has 19, and Shorty Johnson has 21. Again, it'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustments Coach Vachon makes, as well as Coach McCombs, because there was a tough haul there for the University of Maine. Shorty Johnson was feeding them all by herself.
Dorsar able to hit quite a few three-pointers, but really, Stony Brook's able to score at will when they needed to. Blackbears had some timely interceptions, some steals. And then again, as we see Shorty driving to the dish, using her body control to effectiveness, getting that one up through, and they have a narrow 2-point lead. As we see some of the first half statistics from the first 20 minutes from the ACC here in Augusta. Both teams shooting very well from the floor. Slight edge to Stony Brook, who's also shooting 40% from beyond the arc. And also, just looking through here, points in the paint favoring the Seawolves by 8.
Yeah, that's the key one that stands out, and obviously Stony Brook out-rebounding Maine, which is what they were going to have to do since Maine out-rebounding them down there by 9. So they're doing that, which is, I'm sure, something they wanted on the rebounds, but they've also had 28 points in the paint. But they haven't really come from post players. They've come from Shorty Johnson dribble driving into the paint and scoring layups.
Well, we'll have 20 minutes to decide the winner, but a 2-point advantage at the break for Stony Brook. We'll be back with the second half when we return on ESPN+.
Bold meets sweet. With Dunkin's new brown sugar cold brew, sweetly balanced with brown sugar.
We are the curious, the explorers, the innovators, defiant in the face of the status quo, unbound by tradition, unlimited in our potential, relentless in the pursuit of tomorrow's big ideas. We are Stony Brook University. We go far beyond.
Look at those guys, triumphing over the afternoon.
Because they went on a Dunkin' run and got $2 snacks. Hey, guys.
Hey. The Dunkin' Run menu. Delicious $2 afternoon snacks.
On the floor of the Augusta Civic Center, I'm joined by Blackbear head coach Amy Vachon. And coach, it was a battle between Tanesha SUTTON and Stony Brook's Sanaya Johnson in the first half. How will you settle down Sanaya Johnson as the game continues?
Yeah, defensively, we're not very good right now. She's a great player and hitting some shots, but to give up 43 points in one half is just really, really bad defensively for us.
Any other adjustments you'll make in the second half today?
We're going to have to make a lot of adjustments, to be honest with you. We'll figure out what they are.
Thank you, coach.
So we'll see what those adjustments are made. Amy a little coy about that, but I'm sure she has devised a game plan on stopping Johnson in company. But we do have a big 20 minutes ahead of us as we're just a few moments away from starting this second half of play from the Augusta Civic Center. Brian Stackpole and Sandy Thomas with you, along with reporter Adam LaFleur. As both teams go back to their respective huddles, and we're getting things ready to start this second half. Talked about here, Sandy, this is the first time since the beginning of the season in 2017-18 that Maine has played a sort of home game away from the Cross Insurance Center, those games at the Memorial Gym on the campus of the University of Maine as opposed to the Bangor venue. But this is the first time since then that they have played away from home in a matchup outside of maybe the America East tournament down in Portland where they were the higher seeded team, but not truly a home game there either.
Well, they only say that the really good teams are able to win on the road. And technically this is an on-the-road game, but this is also a University of Maine favored crowd, so hopefully that helps them a little bit.
And
Again, Stony Brook right now is playing very, very well.
And Stony Brook, one of the better road teams this season. They are 9-3. Their one lone loss on the road in conference came to Hartford, which they've lost to 2 times now on the season.
Yeah, I think this Stony Brook team is a team to keep an eye on, especially as we head into the Americans playoffs. They're peaking very well at this time of the year, so they could be a spoiler.
Well, we'll see if they can spoil the Black Bears' day. So far, they have a 2-point lead. Starting 5 will be back out there for the Black Bears to begin the proceedings out here, and they will get the ball in the second half. Also the same starting 5 for the Seawolves, clad in navy blue. And we are underway from the Augusta Civic Center for the second half of action. Black Bears looking to tie or take the lead, depending on how this possession pans out. Guess who? Tanesha Sutton goes right towards the dish, can't get it to drop, and that's going to be Johnson with the rebound.
Gucci Provenche definitely pushed her beyond her little comfort zone. She looked like she was going to take it right into the paint, but she had to fade out a little bit.
Now she's fed the ball at the top of the key. That pass is going to be off the fingertips of Zeiss, and a tiny bit of a miscommunication results in the turnover.
Yeah, and I think Shorty Johnson just looked over and said, "Get the ball to me," which a good point guard should be saying at that particular time.
And usually a pretty wise decision, especially when you're looking at the point totals in 21 first half points.
Yeah, they have Matthews has 10 and Johnson has 21.
Good spin move, but also a travel called on Blanca Milan, much to the dismay of the main bench, including Coach Amy Vasha.
Yeah, that obviously Blanca has to be careful. She has 2. There's 2 players on Stony Brook's team. Provenche and Merrill have 2 apiece as fouls.
Ball worked in. Matthews back to the top. Zeiss swings it around to Pagan. Now it's to Matthews to try to feed it into Pagan, but there will be a double dribble underneath, and good defense there from Wadley.
Yeah, and Fawny got lucky on that one a little bit too, because there was no weak side help. I'm not sure who was over there, but nobody dropped down to help on that.
She did close out after the pass went into Pagan nicely, so she really didn't have an angle and resulted in the double dribble. Sarr gets a little bit of space, pull-up jumper, just narrowly missing. Though Sarr missed that one, we've seen a progression of her scoring abilities here as the season has gone through. A little tentative at times early on in the out-of-conference, but now she's scoring in bunches.
Yeah, Maine's taking some shots that they don't ordinarily take. A little bit rushed, not shots that they usually take from those positions. So as it was in the first part of the first half, Maine got a little bit out of continuity in their offense. So Maine needs to get that back.
So there will be a jump ball here. Now the toss in. Johnson to Pagan. She will reset the ball at half. 21 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, what a beautiful pass. Pagan, though, will get the ball knocked away. In doing so is Dorsar.
Yeah, that was a beautiful pass, but Dorsar got a hand on it.
Shot clock will be at 18 seconds. Here's the inbound pass into Pagan. Trying to work away against Wadling. Just gets a little push off, and the basket is good.
Did a good job of creating some space there by a little bit of elbow.
She now has 8 points. Black Bears trailing by 4. Rosignol over to Wadling. Here's the lob pass in. They find Paris, but there's 2 bodies that close out. Sutton thought about a 3. Instead, he'll get it over to Wadling. Handoff, pull-up jumper. Milan can't seem to find the bottom of the hoop, and now this one's knocked out of bounds. It'll be last touched by the Black Bears. Good effort from Shania Johnson again.
Yeah, sorry, Brian. Just to show how quick Shorty Johnson is, she was on the other side of the opposite part of the lane and came over and got that ball.
She doesn't even look tired at all. It looks like she just got off the bus. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I get winded walking into the venue.
Yeah, I'm guessing at this point in the season, either you're dead exhausted or you're in pretty good shape.
Seawolves trying to tack on. This one will be a foul, and I believe they're gonna call it on Blanca Milan. Was pleading her case right in front of the Seawolves bench.
Yeah, I think that looked a little bit more like an illegal screen.
So that'll be a foul on Blanca Milan, who's picked up some fouls, and we revisit our key player from the beginning of the contest. As we see here, first half points for Johnson, 21. 3 assists, 5 points for Blanca. So really the edge going to Shania Johnson. This 3-pointer missed, and now the rebound out to the Black Bears, trailing by 4.
a little surprised Coach Vachon hasn't.
Oh, beautiful pass in. Dorsard finished by Sutton. So Milan's going to be working with 3 personal fouls, hoping she can keep this clean, at least in that regard. She'll guard Johnson. She's a little stutter step, throws it up, won't get it to drop, might have been deflected. But quickly the Black Bears, 2-on-1. Johnson coming back though and will steal it away. You could see that one coming a mile.
Yeah, you could definitely see that one coming.
And then a foul will be called on the Black Bears. And again, the main fans incensed.
Black Bear foul called on number 15, Dorsard, her second.
So Sar will pick up her second foul.
Yeah, Blanca Milan right now encouraging the crowd to get into this game. And that's what University of Maine is used to, is the crowd being their 6th man for them. There they go.
Even with a sloppy play by the Black Bears, it's still a narrow 2-point game as Pagan gets it. Going against Wadling on that block. Now at the elbow.
Yeah, and that should be 3 seconds as well as travel.
So the fan base getting loud and rowdy. Might have played into India Pagan's head. Maine works the ball down the court by way of Dorsard. Now over to Sutton with 21 on the shot clock. Milan driving it. The spin move. Up. A little contact, but off the window and in.
Yeah, she almost looked like she used both hands to bank that ball against the glass.
Now 7 points, first basket of the second half. Zeiss with Gucci Provencher. Now to Shorty Johnson. 3-pointer. In and out. That would have silenced the crowd, but instead they get even louder.
That's good. That's good. That's what Maine needs. That's what they're used to.
Rosignol for 3. Just missing. And then a loose ball, a rebound foul, and I believe they're going to notch this one on Pagan.
Stony Brook foul by number 33, India Pagan, her first.
Interesting there. As it got deathly quiet for a second as Maine shot that 3-pointer, and then the whistle was blown as Pagan will check out.
Yeah, kind of Smith just came in.
Now here's the inbound. Another player goes down. No foul is called, but there will be a foul after. Zeiss looks like she's a little lame. But Blanca Milan will hit the line for 2 shots.
Foul by number 11, Jarrell Matthews. Her third. Team second of the third quarter.
It's getting a little physical out there.
Chance for Maine to take the lead again. First time in the second half, but Milan cannot do it on this first attempt.
Into the game for Stony
It's a
Brook.
68% free throw shooter, struggling a little bit.
Number 10, Chance Cherry.
So Cherry will check in for Matthews.
One more shot for Blanca Milan.
McVicker will be coming in for Milan. This free throw is good. And that will be the case. Blanca Milan now has 8 points.
Yeah, you don't see Blanca miss 2 in a row very often from the line.
Maine a pretty good shooting free throw team. Though today, missing just a few. I think they've missed, what, 2 total?
I think so.
Johnson being guarded by McVicker, who just checked in for Milan. Now for Provencher going in. But there's going to be a foul beforehand. And again, the Black Bears pleading their case, but to no avail from this officiating crew.
Tanesha SUTTON, her
Yeah, she did look like she had her arm and elbow leaning on her hip.
So the ball being bounded by Johnson underneath their hoop. 46-45, Maine on top by 1. Almost taken away by Rosignol, instead back to Johnson. She is so dangerous with the ball in her hands. Hands it off. Cherry, as the crowd gets loud and more vocal. Now it's almost taken away, back to Gucci Provencher. Now over to Johnson, 8 on the shot clock. Pulls up for a deep 2, just narrowly misses, rebound to Wadling.
Yeah, there's a battle going on underneath the boards.
Lob pass in from Wadling to Sutton for a McVicker 3, and that one's off the window. Rebound to Cherry.
Crowd would have gone crazy if that had gone in.
The dart dive, little contact, no foul was called. That one just rattles off the iron. It's a 1-on-2. Now it's a 2-on-1, but a 3-pointer thrown up, and it's buried by Dorsard. 4th time from long range for Dor. Shorty gets the ball. Johnson now to Cherry. Crowd is loud with a 4-point Maine advantage.
It's interesting, Maddie McVicker is defending Shorty Johnson right now.
Zeiss foul line extended, now going to the top. Back to Johnson. She's been quiet in the last minute or two, but not for long. Oh, it's just going to miss as she goes careening down to the boards. Thought she had that one. Maine now going, trying to get the basket. Rossignol has been relatively quiet. Sutton with a deep two, and she buries that one.
4 minutes left to go here. I'm a little surprised McCombs hasn't called a timeout, which I think she's doing right now.
And that will be the case with 3:55 remaining in this third quarter. Maine has opened up a 6-point lead. Back with more on ESPN+.
You support your Black Bears at the game. Why not support them everywhere you go? The exclusive Black Bear debit card only at Maine Savings. The Black Bear debit card is free to you and supports the Alphon Fund each time you use your card for a purchase. Just open a Red Wallet account at Maine Savings. Stop into our College Avenue branch or any of our other convenient branches. Show your pride. Make a difference. The exclusive Black Bear debit card only at Maine Savings. Learn more at mainsavings.com.
We've been doing business with Hammond Lumber for about 15 years. The most important thing Hammond Lumber gives us is customer service. We have a lot of jobs going, typically 4 to 6 at one time, and we need truck deliveries on each of those once a day. So we expect multiple trucks, which Hammond Lumber delivers on a regular basis for us. The things that are important to me are being able to trust my sales rep, trust the pricing, trust the delivery, and overall trust the service that Hammond Lumber provides us.
Welcome back to the Augusta Civic Center. I'm joined by Paul Vachon, the father of Black Bears head coach Amy Vachon. And Paul, you coached Amy to 2 high school state championships at Coney in 1995 and 96 here in Augusta. What is your best memory of coaching your daughter?
I think she coached me, okay, because she was instrumental in, honestly, running the show. I could give her the ball and she knew exactly what to do with it. And that was a big part of it. So she's always been a coach in my mind.
And now that she is leading the Black Bears to so much success, what has it meant for you to watch her lead this UMaine team to one of their best seasons this year?
Well, like we say, if you have the players, it makes it a lot easier. And, you know, for our family, obviously, there's about 40 of us strong here. It's a lot of fun. Continues our tradition in our family.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You're
Vachon.
welcome.
Enjoy the game.
Have a great day.
We'll go back to Brian and Sandy courtside.
And what a great little bit of sound there, and hearing from Coach Vachon, the father of the current Maine women's basketball coach.
Well, a little interested note with me, I refereed for 10 years, and I believe, I hate to say this, but I think Coach Vachon might have been the first technical I gave to a coach in my coaching career. He was always a good, strong, competitive coach, but a little bit young in his career, too, probably.
Timeout will be called on the floor. Stony Brook gets the basket, narrows the deficit. It's a 4-point game here at the Augusta Civic Center. 4-point lead for the Black Bears with 3:03 remaining in the quarter. America East fans, ESPN Plus has you covered this Wednesday. All 8 games will be on Plus. For the women's side, 4 games at 7 Eastern. Maine travels UMass Lowell, looking to stay on top of the standings. Stony Brook heads south to take on UMBC. Hartford will host Binghamton, continuing their chase for the #1 seed. And UAlbany travels to New Hampshire for a battle of playoff seeding. A lot of great action as we get down to the nitty-gritties and America East Conference play coming up here as the calendar flips over to March.
Yeah, and this is when it gets fun, Brian. This is when it gets fun.
Quick pass in off the inbound, and Blanca Milan gets the bucket.
Yeah, previously they had an inbound pass, and Provence fouled on the inbound, so she now has 3 fouls.
Milan now in double digits in points. They're trailing by 11 points to Johnson, who has the ball. She has 21 total, but also now is a turnover. Dorsar going 1-on-3. Smart decision to slow things down.
Yeah, Dorsar is just as good a ball handler, I think, as Johnson. She's just not quite as quick as her as far as foot speed.
I don't think anyone in the America East Conference is as quick as her. 3-pointer is going to be short. The follow-up rebound, and a good job and effort there by number 5 in Cox. She'll knock that one out of bounds on a good hustle play.
Yeah, I always get nervous when Blanca Milan has 2-3 fouls because she still continues to compete very physical. Like, it doesn't bother her. She just wants to. She doesn't want to slow down at all. She just wants to keep competing.
She's a smart player, but sometimes a little overly aggressive at times. Will pick up a foul, which might be borderline. Currently, her team was trailing at the half by 2 points, is up by 6. Milan driving in. Takes a step, can't get it to drop. Ball is knocked out. Now it's Saar versus Johnson. Little stutter step, and she just blows past the main point guard, but misses the basket.
Yeah, she did literally blow past her. Just a nice quick crossover dribble. Nice pass.
What a seam in from Wadling again, threading the needle to Rosignol for 2. Just the second basket for Rosignol, but what a pretty pass from the center.
The crowd's really getting into it now.
Johnson, deep three, got it! What a dagger from long range. That might have been back from Long Island from that distance.
It looked like her heels were on the sideline in front of her bench over there. She quieted the crowd down very quickly.
New leading scorer, as this one's going to be a turnover on Dorsar. 24 points for Shania Johnson now. Look how far back this is. From the lumber sign on that far part of the court.
They're doing a little bit of talking to each other, I think, out there between Johnson and Saar.
That's her first points in the second half, too, surprisingly, but just shows you how impressive those 21 points were in that first half for Johnson. Now Gucci Provenche gets her first bucket in this second half as well.
Yeah, Stony Brook continues to get a lot of points in the paint, but they're by dribble drives. They're not by post players.
And this one is tightened up again, a 3-point advantage for the Black Bears, looking to add on. Tanesha Sutton drives in, it's a block.
Wow.
Provenche getting her mitts on it. And then Milan almost getting called for a foul. She was a little aggressive, still on the floor, and it will be a tie-up favoring the Black Bears.
It's just good hustle, everybody getting on the floor on that loose ball.
41.7 left on the clock, and there is 11.7 seconds of differential between the shot and game clock in the third. Saar taking her time, getting some time up off the clock at half court. She's getting encouragement in play calling from Amy Vashon. Point guard, and a very good one back in her time at the helm of the Black Bears.
Certainly was. For both the high school team and the University of Maine team.
Milan gets the ball, drives in, up towards the basket and in.
Yeah, Stony Brook brought nobody over there to help.
She now has 12 points, a dozen for the talented Spaniard. 5 seconds left. Johnson with the ball in her hands. Pump fake, deep three again. That one's gonna miss offline, and she can't get it to go before the buzzer. So the Black Bears will take a nice 5-point lead into the fourth quarter of play from the Augusta Civic Center. We'll be back with the fourth quarter on ESPN+. 5-point lead for the Black Bears at the Augusta Civic Center, 57-52, entering the fourth quarter of play versus Stony Brook, who only has 2 games left in the regular season after this one wraps up in the next 10 minutes, as they stay on the road heading to UMBC on Wednesday to wrap up their 3-game road stand, and they finish the season at home versus Vermont before the quarterfinals in March. So Sandy, looking here at the statistics, just 3 points for Shania Johnson in this second half. What adjustments have the Black Bears made on her to really stymie the scoring in that regard?
Well, it looks like what they're doing is they're sending 2 players after her. And whenever she starts to drive by them, they didn't do it on that particular instance, but previously they had a couple of players coming off screens, and both players would come out after her, slowing her down or at least pushing her out rather than dribbling into the paint. So I think that type of attack defensively against her could slow her down. We'll see if it continues to happen.
You don't have to stop her from scoring completely because that's near impossible, but you can't have her be scoring at a 21-point performance clip in each half. She did slow down quite a bit in that second half. So
I'd love to see a shot chart right now as far as where all those points came from. Most of them, I think, from dribble penetration layups.
Pagan trying to get the deficit down, can't get the angle that she wants, and that one will be short.
Yeah, we credit Fonnie Wadley on good, smart defense there. Just put her hands up, no foul.
Ball worked into Sutton. She's backing down her defender. Now Wadley thought about a 3, but back to Sutton. Now Saar for 3, that one's short. Cox will get the rebound. They try to lob it in, they get it to Vagan. Size mismatch now of Shorty Johnson. 3, almost finds its way down through. The rebound to Rosignol.
Yeah, both teams have gone a little bit cold here.
Saar trying to find it in Sutton. She's on the right block. Almost gets it stripped away. Second chance effort towards the hole, and she'll be called for the offensive foul.
She must have pushed off with the other hand.
And there will be a timeout, I believe, too, called. Maybe not. Heard the whistle like a timeout. I guess an injury timeout. Looks like Pagan. Oh no, it's a shoe tying situation. So that is all wrapped up, and we are back underway from the ACC.
Yeah, again, Blanca trying to get the crowd going again, and they respond.
Still a 5-point game, even with the buckets we've seen back and forth. Here's the lob pass into Pagan, who gets good positioning, but can't get it to go, and then a foul will be called on her on the loose ball rebound.
Yeah, Maine's allowed that to happen, though, 2 or 3 times, and they got lucky on that because there's nobody on that weak side help when Fonnie Wadley's playing up high on her. There's nobody there to take that lob pass away from her.
That's the one thing we've seen versus this Black Bear team is Tanesha Sutton is a small number 4 player on your team. She does have the athleticism to play down underneath, but Black Bears have been beat sometimes inside with size, especially when you have 2 very tall players like they do at Stony Brook.
Yeah, Maine does well, though, to compensate for that lack of height.
Using some good guard play, quickness, and shooting from outside. Again, relatively speaking, from the Black Bear perspective, anytime you can have Paris Rosignol limited to 4 points, your opposition, you have to view that as a success. But unfortunately for the Stony Brook side, other people have picked it up, including Blanca Milan, who now has 16 points after a slow start.
Yeah, and Blanca Milan is another one of those players that she's just so smart. If she's struggling a little bit at one end, she's just going to make up for it at another.
She's now the second leading scorer on this team behind Tanesha Sutton, who has 23.
Yeah, this crowd wants a little bit bigger lead here.
Runner up, and that one will drop as Zeiss gets another one.
Yeah, Zeiss isn't basically your normal dribble penetration player, so Maine cannot allow players like that to hurt them.
She has 2 baskets from the floor for 4 total points. Sutton over to Wadling with 15 on the shot clock. Milan has had the hot hand. Will feed it over. Now to Rosignol. Gets an open look for 3. In and out.
Priest has been struggling a little bit. She had told me earlier she likes the feel of these rims, but I'm guessing she's changing her mind on that right now.
Still a 5-point lead. Neither team really being able to pull either closer or away. There's a rumble of the fan trying to get their teams going. Most of them clad in Maine blue. Johnson going through, weaving, and gets that one in before the shot clock expires. What an amazing effort again from that short point guard.
Yeah, in Maine both times. They sent 2 players to that ball side, and she still got through all 3 players, actually.
It's amazing what she can do at just 5'1", 28 points already. Milan will miss the 3-pointer from the corner, gets fed again, and now the reset to Dorsal.
Coach Vachon looking over at a point guard right now, saying, slow down, calm down, let's look for the good shot.
Of course, we talked about the 2 probably front runners for the Americas Player of the Year, Blanca Milan, who has the ball currently, and Shania Johnson, as another one goes through. 18 points now for Blanca. But you're seeing why these 2 players are so highly regarded.
Yeah, but Matthews was on the floor on that one, questioning the official. She might have had a pretty justified complaint on that one.
Johnson looking to get up to 30 points, but she's going to get rejected. Blanca Milan, though, roll right back into Johnson. Beautiful pass into Pagan, but it's deflected again from behind, and then a foul will be called. Will it be Wadling or Milan? It's going to be on Fani.
Yeah, both of that in that situation, both Fani Wadling and Blanca Milan, they both went after Johnson, and obviously Milan blocked her first shot, but she's so quick to recover it back that they had a hard time getting back to Pagan to defend the shot.
Pagan will miss the free throw. This team overall, a 67.6% free throw shooting team entering today's affair.
Pagan is at 64% from the free throw line.
That one is missed. Rebound out to the Black Bears.
Those 2 shots right there might be 2 shots they may come back and take a look at on those. They needed those.
So again, a 5-point advantage for the Black Bears, looking to add on. 3-pointer from Saar. Back iron, rebound, Sutton, putback is good.
And I think she was calling for a foul on that one, but she got the 2 points.
25 points now for Tanesha. Talking about high water marks, Shania Johnson is close to her career best. She's 1 off of it currently. Here's the drive-in. The floater will miss short, rebound by Wadling.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the adjustment that the coaching staff for Maine has made, it is affecting Johnson a little bit. Maine is sending 2 players after her every single time she dribble attacks.
Saar almost gets it taken away. Instead, there'll be a foul called on Johnson. And there'll be a timeout on the floor. Maine on top, 65-58. Back for the final 4:22 when we return on ESPN+.
Official timeout.
7-point lead for the Black Bears, 65-58 over the Stony Brook Seawolves in one of the final contests of the American East regular season for the Bears. Last home game is coming up for them. 2 games left, both on the road. UMass Lowell on Wednesday, closing out the year versus Binghamton on March 2nd. Then the American East quarterfinal scheduled for March 6th. And if the Black Bears hold on to first place by winning out, the Black Bears will have home court throughout the conference tournament, which would mean the championship runs through Orono and Bangor.
Yeah, right now, Brian, Dorzar has 14, Blanca Milan 18, and Tanesha Sutton 25. But I think the key stat that stands out, and Fawning Wadling sometimes very much gets overlooked, she has 14 rebounds and 4 assists. She only has 4 points, but 14 rebounds and 4 assists is huge.
Don't forget about the performance from Shania Johnson, though, matching her season high with 28 points, a mark she had versus UMass Lowell on the 5th of January. She's 1 point shy of a new career best. This one knocked out of bounds by Zeiss.
She definitely is a fun player to watch.
And I would sign me up for another matchup in the American East tournament between these two teams. Depending on how everything shakes out, we could maybe see a semifinal or final matchup. This one, a bucket for Paris.
Yeah, Paris Rossignol has just gotten better and better this year at that quick little off the dribble 8 to 10 foot jump shot.
6 points now for her. Johnson works it over to Matthews. Now Pagan. Back to Matthews for a wing 3. In and out. Rebound knocked to Sutton. Maine with a 9-point advantage, which is their largest lead of the contest.
This could be a big basket right here if Maine scores.
Sutton with a little space from the 3-point arc. Gets it over to Rossignol. Tanesha. She'll take the 3, and she'll bury the 3.
Wow, right in a 6-foot player's face. Yeah, not even a 6-foot player. I think she is 6'4", right in her face with her arms up.
And Amy Vachon with a smile on her face. Tanesha Sutton doesn't bury a lot of 3-pointers, but if this ultimately stands as a 3-pointer, that one is a big clutch one from the senior.
Yeah, and it's been, I've noticed a few times in this game, she's had the opportunity to shoot the 3, but has hesitated, looked for a better shot. And again, it pays off when you've got patience like that.
We'll see if it's a new career high or not. By the way, if we're talking about postseason action, Black Bears hoping to make it back to the NCAA. In Charlie Cream's bracketology, Maine is projected as a 14 seed in his latest version, and they would play 3rd-seeded Maryland in the latest bracket prediction. Also on that regional would be 6th-seeded Missouri, 11th seed Miami, Ohio, and Maine has the highest RPI in the conference at 71st in the country overall.
Yeah, Maryland would be a tough draw for them, but those other teams I think Maine could very much compete with, but Maryland would be a tough draw for them. But I still think a better situation than going up against who they went up against last year in the University of Texas.
And that would also be an improvement of a year ago, and that is going to be the case. It will be a 3-point basket for Tanesha Sutton. So by my calculations, that's a new career high for her. She had a previous high of 27.
Well, she's definitely making up for not playing in that first game down at Stony Brook against them.
Amy Vachon and Blanca Milan are employing the fan base to get loud, and they are starting to do so from this Augusta Civic Center. Well, Shania Johnson and company quiet the crowd. Pagan going in. Good crossover dribble. Up, but not over the front iron. Rebound to Wadley. 2:44 remaining on the clock. Understandably so, this crowd is getting rowdier, and Maine taking their time on offense.
Yeah, and I believe Stony Brook is one of the lower teams in the conference as far as attendance, so they're not used to kind of hearing this kind of participation in a game. Maine's averaging the highest of attendance in the American East at right around 1,500.
In and out, rebound. It's going to be thrown back to Saar, who will reset. One of the longer road trips for Stony Brook, too. Maine pretty isolated in this northeast part of New England. Stony Brook has to make a very large jaunt up here. Probably the longest trip to Maine is UMBC, but Stony Brook not far behind.
Yeah, that was a 15th rebound just then for Fawning Wadling, and that was key to give them another possession.
As Milan falls down towards the paint, she also gets the bad news, at least on her regard, that she committed the travel. 12-point game, though. Can Johnson get a new career high and lead her side back in this contest? She's got the ball. Handoff. Milan guarding her. Pull up three-pointer, and that one's going to miss. She'll get her own rebound and goes right towards the hole again, and she can't get the second chance opportunity to fall either.
Yeah, you've got to box her out. She is quick. You got to put a body on her. Move your feet.
Again, Maine trying to draw all the time off the clock as possible. 17 on the shot clock. Under 90 seconds to play. Wadling over to Saw. Milan drives in, finds Wadling, and she'll get blocked by Pagan.
Yeah, she put that up a little bit soft.
This one, a three-pointer, and it's around and down for Gucci Provence in her first three-pointer. Not often do you see a player like that with her size be able to hit that one from long range, but an impressive shot.
Timeout, Stony Brook.
What a great block.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that was a great block there. Enable them to get the ball down the court for a three-pointer for sure. Yeah, Maine probably can. If they get a good possession here, they have to be careful. They have to get a good look in the paint. But I think they can run some time off the clock with that. But they've got to make sure they get a score here.
And the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety wants you to survive your drive. Please remember to always wear your safety belt and never drink and drive. For more information, visit MaineHighwaySafety.com.
Also, news around the University of Maine. They had a big weekend in the America-East Championship and the America-East as well. It's the swimming last week, and Julia McDonald won the Most Outstanding Swimmer Award in the meet. She also set a new school and conference record in the 50-yard and 100 freestyle events. Also took part of that 800-yard freestyle relay, and a great overall night for her. University of Maine swimming team and the rest of the swimming athletes in the America-East Conference.
Yeah, good for them. They're a program that sometimes goes unnoticed, but boy, they compete hard, and they have some great swimmers in that program.
And a foul is going to be called on Cox. As that, I believe, will be foul number 4, so we're one away from shots coming up for the Black Bears. Set will inbound the ball to Saar in the backcourt. Fresh shot clock, too, means Maine can eat up more time. Only up 70-61. Fans on their feet here from the Augusta Civic Center.
Yeah, this is smart right here. Get the shot clock. 13 seconds left on that shot clock. And now they have a new shot clock. Actually, a free throw attempt here.
And Johnson saying, I just touched her. Just touched her. Oh, no, that's a foul.
You hate to see that, though, because there's so much contact, much harder than that in a game, and it doesn't get called, but a touch foul in this kind of a situation gets called.
The officiating crew has called a consistent. Saar one on the other side that Maine was called for as well.
This crew has done a good job with this type of a game.
Saar hits that one to make it back to a 10-point lead for the Bears.
Yeah, this America East is not going to be easy for Maine as far as it'd be great to have a good home court advantage, but Hartford and Stony Brook are strong teams right now.
So now with 20 seconds left, Johnson to Matthews. She drives in, the runner will be offline, rebound to Wadley. With 11 seconds left on the clock, every fan in attendance will stand to attention to cheer on the Black Bears as time will now expire off the clock. And the Black Bears get one step closer to wrapping up home court advantage through the America East playoffs as they pick up an impressive 71-61 win with a huge second half.
And I think we can attribute that to the great adjustments made by the coaching staff at halftime.
As they pick up win number 20 on the season, win number 13 in conference play as well. They were trailing by 2 at the break and then outscored their opposition by a dozen when all was said and done. Well, with that in mind, we're now going to send it to our reporter Adam LaFleur, who's standing courtside with the victorious head coach Amy Vashon.
On the floor of the Augusta Civic Center with victorious Black Bear head coach Amy Vashon. And coach, a very tight game today. Stony Brook led most of the first half. There was a very close battle in the third quarter, and you pulled away in the fourth. What was the difference today?
I think we defensively in the second half we did a much better job. In the first half, Stony Brook's a great team, and Johnson's a great player, but we really didn't put a lot of pressure on them. I didn't think we made them uncomfortable, you know, and we really have to do that against that team. They're just too good. So I think in the second half we did a better job with that.
And Tanesha Sutton was great today. She had a double-double, 11 rebounds, 28 points. What is it about her that it makes her such a successful player?
She just does everything, you know. She doesn't know how good she is, so that's kind of can be tough for her sometimes. But she just rebounds the ball. She plays so hard. She hit that three. She's really worked on that. She's a joy to coach. So.
Congratulations on the win today, Coach. A big one over Stony Brook.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Brian and Sandy courtside at the Augusta Civic Center.
Thank you, Adam. As we see the players from the University of Maine and the fan base now participating in the electric slide, but we talked about two players entering this contest in the key matchup, two of the front runners for the American East Player of the Year, at least in our opinions, in Shania Johnson and Blanca Milan. And I would say the individual matchup, though, went to Shorty Johnson, who was incredible here today, just a shade off of what would have been a career-high performance. She bested Blanca Milan, though Blanca's best time was actually in the second half, helping the Blackbirds pull away. So a little of both for both players.
Yeah, and again, we've got to give credit to Blanca Milan and Tanesha Sutton and Dorzar, with Tanesha getting a double-double. You know, when they ask what the key thing is with Tanesha Sutton, I would say work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. But also, too, you have got to give some applause to Bonnie Wadling with 16 rebounds. That's just an amazing working job underneath the basket.
As Shania Johnson wraps up, shooting 12 for 27 from the floor, 3 for 10 from beyond the arc for 28 total points. Again, 1 point off of her career best mark. Blanca Milan really poured it on, wrapped up with 18 total points, but missed all 5 opportunities from beyond the arc. So, again, even just thinking about that, missing 5 3-pointers, very rare for her overall. But let's look at the final statistics. Maine winning by 10, shooting almost 50% from the floor. And even though they were outshot from beyond the arc, Maine shoot a lot better from the free throw stripe, which is usually tradition for the Black Bears leading the conference in that regard.
Well, the difference here is, too, again, Stony Brook only shot 3 free throws, but when you're that quick going to the hole, you're not going to get fouled either. The thing is, Maine shot 10 free throws and they made 7 for 10 for 70%, so it's a good job from the line from them today.
Well, let's look at the bracket now. If the season were to end today after everything is all said and done, as Maine will be taking on UMass Lowell, Hartford number 2, and still Stony Brook, as we talked about. No one's going to be moving or oscillating depending on the outcome today, but at least things are a little bit more tight in that 2 and 3 spot, at least potentially. So we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward.
Well, the key thing is it looks like Maine pretty 99.9% has clinched home court advantage.
As they still have 2 more games left to go, but things are narrowing up slightly here in terms of regular season matchups and everything, because UMaine has just 2 games left. They're both going to be on the road versus UMass Lowell and Binghamton, but keep that in mind. Well, America East fans, ESPN Plus has you covered. This Wednesday, all 8 games will be on Plus. For the women's side, 4 games at 7 Eastern. Maine travels to UMass Lowell, looking to stay on top of the standings and win their final 2, as we alluded to. Stony Brook heads south to take on UMBC. Hartford will host Binghamton, continuing the chase for the number 1 seed. And UAlbany travels to New Hampshire for a battle and playoff seeding. Well, Sandy, a come-from-behind victory for the Black Bears, erasing a 2-point deficit at the break. Ultimately, they win. So let's get your takeaways from this matchup. First, for Stony Brook, it was at least a showing for them that they can compete with the top team in the America East Conference.
Well, they certainly can, but as it showed in the second half, when you key on as good a player as Johnson, which Maine did in the second half, they doubled up. They threw 3 or 4 players at her sometimes. One player cannot win a ball game for you as good as she is. For Maine, they just made it once again. I applaud that coaching staff. They made some amazing adjustments at halftime to come out doubling up and tripling up on Johnson.
And for the Black Bears, they did a great job on Johnson, as you alluded to, and they can use that game plan versus very talented players in the future, you have to imagine, right?
Yeah, again, I think Maine has improved from game to game to game here in the second half of the season, especially defensively.
Now, we look ahead at the conference landscape. You feel pretty confident that the Black Bears, with 2 games left, can wrap it up, or does that Binghamton game scare you as a Black Bear fan?
Well, again, I think you take 1 game at a time, and anybody can scare you as you head towards the playoffs. But I think Maine should be pretty solid going in. And obviously, too, Hartford's got to win out.
Yeah. And Stony Brook's still right there. They could be the Cinderella story They could be interesting, especially as they're pretty much locked in at that number 3 seed. Could they be taking on Maine? Could they be taking on Hartford? That's what the last couple of games will decide. So still a lot of tough things, but after seeing what we saw today, it should be a fun American East tournament come March.
Well, again, if Maine hosts it, it'll definitely be fun because the crowd will be into the game, and this crowd here in Augusta definitely did that today for the Maine team.
So a little home-road game for the Black Bears, but still, when all is said and done, a victory for the Black Bears. But that's going to do it for us. So for my broadcast partner, Sandy Thomas, and our reporter, Adam LaFleur, I'm Brian Stackpole saying so long from the Augusta Civic Center, where the final score is Maine 71, Stony Brook 61. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app.